He's a clown. Look, I saw him backstage. He was nervous. He was waving his arms around. He was huddling with someone in the corner. He asked for a full-length mirror at one point. I think people watched the debate last night. They know for a fact. Not only was I not nervous, but I think it's time to take the mask off of this guy. I mean, he's a guy that portrays himself as the defender of the little guy in this country. He's been exploiting working Americans for 40 years. When his businesses went bankrupt, the first people that didn't get paid were those small contractors. He had people that put their confidence in him and signed up for Trump University. Some of them paid $35,000, $36,000, and they got nothing for it because they trusted in his name and got stuck. He says he's a fighter against illegal immigration. He's hiring illegal immigrants to build Trump Towers. And even now in Florida, he hires foreign workers to do the job instead of Floridians, Americans who are applying to do those jobs. So he's being unmasked, and obviously he doesn't like it, and no one's done that to him before, but we can't let this go on. And he's a front runner now, and I think it is unacceptable that the front runner is a guy who's a con man, and he's trying to take over the party of Reagan. We're not going to let that happen.
You said that a few times in interviews today, Senator, and you were asked whether you would support him if he was the nominee, and you said he's not going to be the nominee and that the Republican Party would, quote, be split apart if he is the nominee. So my question is that a prediction or a threat?
No, that's a prediction. That's what's going to happen if he's the nominee. The Republican Party will split apart because he's not a conservative. You had someone on the air last night basically arguing in favor of Planned Parenthood. I mean, if you see his position on Planned Parenthood, his statement that we're not going to take sides between Israel and the Palestinian Authority, his notion that unless you're in favor of government-sponsored health care, you're going to let people die in the streets. I mean, he was defending those positions better than Harry Reid does. He's a dream for the Democrats. If he's the nominee, they're going to take him apart. They're going to take all his business dealings apart, and they're going to have a guy that's not going to be able to disagree with him on policy. How can someone who defends Planned Parenthood, will not take sides with Israel, supports government-sponsored health care takeover by government, how could someone like that be the head of the party of Reagan or a head of the conservative movement? It cannot and will not happen. But Brett, I didn't say he wasn't a good con man. Obviously, he's been able to convince people of his arguments that he's making. Our job is to reverse that, and we're going to. I acknowledge right now I am an underdog in this race. There's no doubt about it. I've been an underdog my whole life. Unlike Donald Trump, I didn't start out with a $1 million loan from my dad or inherited $200 million. I've had to fight, scratch, and claw for everything. Here's what I'm never going to give up on. I am not going to allow this con man to take control of the party of Ronald Reagan or to be the head of the conservative movement. We're going to fight as long and as hard as we can to keep that from happening because the stakes are too high. This country needs a strong and vibrant Reagan conservative party, and Donald Trump will never have that if he's our nominee. It's not going to happen.